What's up guys, my name is Ace, and Season 2 is right around the corner. Based on the Battle Pass timer right now, it looks like Season 1 will be ending in 10 days, and therefore we should be expecting Season 2 to be launching on February 7th. And today, I just wanted to do a recap of a bunch of things that have leaked. These leaks are from about a week ago, but I know not everybody caught them, and I've just been too busy catching up with everything that came with Season 1 Reloaded that I haven't had a chance to get around to it. So we're going to be talking about the 5 weapons that leaked for Season 2, a potential new vest for Season 2, a new streak, new maps, as well as a new war map. There were also a ton of cosmetics that were leaked, but I don't typically cover that stuff on this channel. For me, I care about things that actually affect the gameplay directly. Also, of course, just a disclaimer, these are leaks. None of these have been officially confirmed yet, and therefore things are always subject to change. Sometimes things get scrapped or adjusted before we actually end up getting them in our hands. And without further ado, let's just dive right into this with the new weapons we can expect with Season 2. And as of right now, the 2 weapons that are expected at launch with Season 2 as part of the free version of the Battle Pass are going to be the FN F2000, or it's likely going to be called the Anvil B. You guys might recognize this from Vanguard. And this one was actually officially shown off with the Season 1 Reloaded blog in this ranked play image right here. If you zoom in, that is the Anvil B, or FN F2000, and that's expected to be in the assault rifle category. And then on top of that, for our launch weapons for Season 2, based on data mines, it appears the PM9 SMG will be coming. And the OG Modern Warfare 3 players may recognize this one. This was an SMG in the original Modern Warfare 3. And so far, like I said, those are the 2 that are expected at launch with Season 2. However, there are 3 more weapons that are expected for the Season 2 Reloaded update. And as of right now, the first one appears to be the HRM 762, which will be in the battle rifle category, and it appears this is based on the Beretta ARX 200. Then on top of that, it looks like another SMG is coming, and this appears to be the MTAR SMG. Now finally, for our Season 2 weapons, we have a melee weapon coming, and it appears it's just going to be some form of a sword. There weren't any additional details provided here, but some kind of a sword appears to be coming for Season 2. And there we go, it looks like 1 assault rifle, 2 SMGs, a battle rifle, and a melee weapon coming. Which I know a lot of people like to rag on the fact that they always add assault rifles and SMGs, but at the end of the day, those are the ones that end up seeing the most usage. And honestly, I'm not that disappointed because I think at least this year we do have enough like LMGs in the game. We have enough shotguns in the game. And at this stage, I'd rather just see guns that I would actually use on a regular basis. But that of course is just me, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about that down below. Next, let's get into the new vest that was data mined. Now, this is just like one string of code that was data mined, so I'm not 100% confident in this. But that string of code does mention a ninja vest for Season 2. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be called the Ninja Vest. A lot of the times the name that they use in the code while developing it, it doesn't end up being the name that they use in-game. But the implication here with the name Ninja Vest is that we would perhaps have covert sneakers essentially built into our vest. And that, I think, would be huge for this game because it would actually open up the boot category and you could try out some of the other boots. Because as of right now, the boot category is completely dominated by covert sneakers. And don't get me wrong, I love the fact that covert sneakers exists. I just think that they kind of screwed the balance up with everything. And with the addition of a ninja vest, assuming it does carry the benefits of covert sneakers, I think that could at least alleviate the boot balancing issue to some degree. Now, of course, ideally, I'd like to see them properly balance things when it comes to the default footstep audio so you don't feel like you need to use covert sneakers while also simultaneously buffing the other boots that aren't covert sneakers in order to make them a more attractive choice. But at the very least, if we do get a ninja vest that gives us those benefits, we may be able to play around with some of the other boots for many of us for the first time in this game. In either case, we have a Killstreak that was leaked as well that could perhaps be coming with Season 2. And this one is just labeled as the Bunker Buster, and I'm very curious to see what this ends up being. Because in real life, a Bunker Buster is meant to punch through a whole lot of concrete or even the ground. Are we going to be able to use this to get people that are undercover, like inside a building, for instance? And if so, how is that going to be balanced properly? Like, where's the counterplay to that going to end up being? So this one definitely raises some questions, and I'm very curious to see how it ends up performing in game, assuming it is coming with Season 2. Next, let's talk about maps, and this is an area with the data mines where it's not entirely clear which maps are actually going to be coming with Season 2, and which ones are going to be 6v6 maps, or perhaps just 2v2 gunfight maps. We really didn't get any specifics when it comes to this, but I did want to at least list out 7 map names that were released, and again, these names could even change by the time we end up seeing them. But these maps are Arcade, Dubai, Fight Club, Kinetic, Seafort, Trident, and Venice. Now, one thing we do know is around the launch period of Modern Warfare 3, Sledgehammer did confirm that for the first few seasons at least, we were going to be seeing 3 brand new original multiplayer maps per season. So we can definitely expect at least 3 new maps, probably like 2 at the launch of Season 2 and 1 as a mid-season update. And then perhaps also a remade map. And this is where I want to point out another thing that was found in the data mines, and this was a mention to Das Haus 24/7, and this was clearly in Modern Warfare 3. I don't believe this was just leftover code from Vanguard or anything. So it does appear we'll be getting a remaster or a remake of Das Haus from Vanguard. And as far as tiny maps go, at least, I think that's good news. I'm generally not a big fan of the super tiny maps like that, but at least in the case of Das Haus, we've only ever seen that in one Call of Duty game in the past, and it wasn't last year's Call of Duty game, so I'm not necessarily opposed to Das Haus returning. I just hope that it is going to be like a reskin of it and maybe set in daytime rather than night, just to change up the vibe a little bit while maintaining the same layout. So there we go, that's just a little bit of map information that was leaked with this data mine. But on top of that, there were actually 3 war maps, or operations as they call them, that were leaked as well. Now, it's highly unlikely we're going to be getting 3 war maps with the launch of Season 2. Instead, I think these are just the next 3 war operations that are planned to be released throughout the next several seasons. But since we didn't get one for Season 1, I suspect we will be getting a new war map with Season 2, and it's likely to be one of the 3 that were leaked, and the names of these, at least in the code, were Operation Avalanche, Operation Exodus, and Operation Kuzka. And I think that's great news. We're definitely overdue for a war map. It's kind of crazy that that mode has only had 1 map since the launch of the game, but I also understand it must take a whole lot more work to create a war map rather than a standard 6v6 map. And with that, that's pretty much it as far as direct gameplay-related leaks for Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer in Season 2. I'm sure since the season is expected to launch in just 10 days from now, we should start to see some official information released throughout the week this week, especially by the end of the week. I suspect we will have a full-on roadmap of everything. However, before we wrap this up, I also have a small list of my big hopes for Season 2 outside of content. And these are, first up, some perk balancing. I think it's definitely time to get a little bit of perk balancing in there. Overall, I'm totally fine with the general structure of the perks in the game. I just feel like many of the perks could use a little bit of work, and I have made videos in the past sharing my feedback on that. But on top of that, I hope they're continuing to work on spawns as well. This is still one of my biggest gameplay design issues with the game at the moment, is the spawns, especially in Domination, still feel really rough. And the general flow of matches just doesn't seem to make sense, at least within the context of Domination. And it's really frustrating to see that, because the big picture is just all over the place when it comes to that. Which is unfortunate, because early on in Season 1, I thought the spawns were working just fine, for the most part, at least in Domination. Something definitely seemed to change with that at some point just before the holidays, and it got really bad. And while I think they have made some adjustments since then, I still think the spawns in general are quite bad in Domination. So I'm hoping this is something they're just continuing to work on. Additionally, I hope we get an update on the matchmaking discussion that they mentioned they would have in the weeks following the launch of Season 1, because at this point, we're almost 2 months since they mentioned that, and it's been complete radio silence in that area. So it's definitely starting to get to the point where I'm questioning whether or not they forgot about this discussion they were meant to be having. And then finally, for my big hopes for Season 2, I hope we can see some server stability improvements. This is something where I feel like this really went downhill with the Season 1 Reloaded update. Ever since that update, I've been experiencing more packet loss and packet bursts. I've had a few disconnects as well, which I never ran into before the Season 1 Reloaded update. And then suddenly I was running into disconnects, including in zombies, which is really frustrating because you lose all your stuff then. And so this is something I hope they're able to address soon, because it is getting quite frustrating having really bad connection experiences on a fairly regular basis. And honestly, that's it. Those are my primary concerns with the game right now. Overall, when it comes to Season 2 leaks, this is looking pretty good so far, or at least pretty standard for a season. I'm not seeing any glaring issues, based on these limited leaks, of course. Like I said, I'm sure we'll be finding out a whole lot more about Season 2 as this week progresses. And this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Based on the leaks that you've seen here, how are you feeling about Season 2 so far? And also, I'd love to hear some of your hopes for Season 2 as well. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.